This little video series is called Dying Dora's Way, Radically Real Spiels on the End of Life. I'm here today with my friend Stacen, who is trained as an oncology nurse and is currently a professor of nursing at NYU. And where did you do the oncology work? Was Memorial Sloan Kettering?
Memorial Sloan
This
Kettering.
is a very good friend for me to know right now. She's not here in any official capacity. But Stacen has helped me enter some conversations that have been pretty difficult for me, which will be revealed. The reason will be revealed as the video goes on. So I guess my first question for Stacen is, in the years that you were working in oncology, you must have gotten some deep impressions. What really stayed with you from working with cancer people?
So some things from working with patients that had cancer. One of the things actually was that they were amazing. They were so engaged and so I just found them very brave, because I would be at work all day and sometimes at night, and they were always so appreciative, and they were always kind of asking us how we were. So I always kind of marveled at how Doris says, people stay in character, and the kind patients, and I think most of them are quite kind, stayed in character. And even though they were going through these tremendous things, you could always have these very meaningful, insightful conversations, and they always asked about you too. So I found them really inspiring, actually.
Not everybody has these heartfelt, engaged conversations early enough. Do you know what I mean? There's an awful lot of conversation that it would be good to have earlier, particularly when you're talking about your loved ones, your family, these conversations that are sometimes pretty difficult to get started. And Stacen actually, through some professional contact, found a woman. Tell us about Joleen in Australia, right? She's in Australia?
Yeah, so I heard Jolene on a podcast,
okay.
She was talking about her work with aging population, actually, and I believe Jolene Hill out of Australia, she owns actually a funeral home, but she had gone through her own, I think, very traumatic kind of loss. Mm-hmm. She has a number of children and her husband, and I just kind of reached out to her through LinkedIn, and actually you and I had a conversation with her, and she was actually silent sometimes when you were talking, because I think she was just so struck by how open and honest we were with her. And
I'm a bit of an outlier.
And she's been doing this a long time.
Right.
She started developing these decks of cards to help.
Oh, yeah.
To help her.
Here they are.
The families that she was working with have meaningful conversations. So things that Dora's been talking about, the concrete nuts and bolts things about.
Oh, end of life planning, wills, directives, right?
So she has a set of cards for that. And then she also has a set of cards about telling your life story, because she thinks that sharing your life story, and this is from her website, really encourages families to have those conversations about life and what matters most. The power of telling your own story cannot be overestimated. And that's quoting from her website. So we have these cards.
So we have the cards. I will put the information for acquiring them into the program notes on YouTube. But we thought we might show you how this works, because it's been a very beneficial process. There were even a few things in here that I had not thought of to talk about yet. And let's face it, my kids aren't going to get a second chance at doing this. So anyway, it was very good to make an event of it. So let's just begin.
So is this my card or your card?
This I'm asking you, did your family have a favorite holiday destination, and what made it special?
So my family was very fortunate. We had a favorite destination, which was, my mother grew up on Martha's Vineyard, so a little island off the coast of Massachusetts. It's someplace that we went every summer, and we have these great memories of all the exciting just getting to the boat. We had to take a boat across, and once we were on the boat, we knew we were going to be on Martha's Vineyard and going to my grandmother's house, and all the beach escapades and going crabbing and clamming and doing all these fun kind of things in a very scenic part of the United States is something that we all cherished, and I still cherish, and I still do it with my kids.
Pretty good. Ask me one.
Sure. So your question is, what gives you the most pleasure in life?
Oh, well, that's completely changed recently. I would say that for decades I have enjoyed service, taking care of other people more than anything. And guess what? Now I have to step back and let people take care of me, but I think I'm getting the greatest pleasure out of bird feeders. I've got like 8 or 10 bird feeders now. I station them at every window where I might be lying in a bed looking out at the window, because I do spend most of my time horizontal.
So you're staying in character because you're still taking care of others.
Only it's the birds now.
It's just that there's about 10 birds out there even right now. So you're taking care of all the natural wildlife.
All right, how about this one? Tell me about your best loved family traditions, sayings, toasts, or prayers.
Another easy one for me. So our best loved family tradition right now is, actually we just did it. So Thanksgiving, we all get together. My favorite holiday, because it doesn't come with all the gift buying. It's just enjoying a meal together. We go up to Maine, and then we go the next day and we chop down a Christmas tree at a Christmas tree farm, and we bring one back for my mother, and all the grandchildren decorated for the day. So that's a loved tradition.
All right. What's mine?
Your turn. Okay. This is card number 33 of your life story. Is there an often repeated story that your family and friends tell about you?
Oh, yes. When we were on a family vacation when I was 3 years old, I spilled my glass of water, and my entire family has never let me forget that I said, well, there was a stone under it. I'm 64 years old. I am still hearing about how there was a stone under it.
Wow.
Quick, go to the next one.
Okay. So this is for me. Do you want to ask me that
Oh,
question?
yeah. Is there a significant event that either drew your family closer together or wider apart?
So I'll share this with you, and this is a wider apart story, unfortunately. When my grandmother, actually on Martha's Vineyard, passed away, she left her house, so we have this house on Martha's Vineyard for her 4 children, and they disagreed terribly over what should happen to that house, even though my grandfather and my grandmother had always wanted it to stay in the family. So it created a big rift, actually, between the families that lasted quite a while. Everything is okay now, so that's good. But I would say it created a lot of drama, and it was just drew people apart, and we didn't see each other as often. So it's something that I think was an unfortunate thing.
So these are the kinds of things, like there's probably questions about that in the other card set. All of the things that we need to take care of as the ailing or aging or, end of life planning people, to not let that kind of rift happen in the family, because I don't think most parents want their family torn apart by their
No, so that is true. And I learned from that, because with my own 2 sons, I keep telling them, that they need to really stick together, and everything that my husband and I have is 50-50, and that they should always look out for one another and not kind of get absorbed in that, half of my family with that Martha's Vineyard house was looking for the payout, and the other half wanted to stay on Martha's Vineyard to keep the summer traditions going.
Do that ahead of time. Make those decisions ahead of time. You don't want, when it's a lot of money or, anything, or something prized, a prized possession involved, you want, as the parent, to be making that decision. All right, are we done? One more card?
Did your cultural heritage have any influence on your upbringing, and how? That's our last card.
Oh, brother. Yeah, well, I'm always saying how
Sure.
German, how German I am, and how, excuse me, intensely in character I remain as I near the end of life. And there's something about me that comes from that Germanic, stoic, always have a smile on your face tradition. And I actually was banished to the porch if I was crying or loud or hysterical, because I always had to have a smile on my face. And it's not a bad way to go through life, just always having a smile on your face. But when your insides are a really bad match for your outsides, it can create some problems, particularly now while there are, people who want to cry with me. So anyway, thank you for this, and I think we have another video in us, Stacen.
We do.
We've got a little bit more to say.
So think about these things to tell your life story so that it doesn't get lost, and that your kids know kind of all about you.
Yeah.